Alright, greetings everyone, and welcome back to That Variety Nerd. I'm Christine, and today we are doing another Sims 4 remodel, this time in Strangerville. Not to be confused with Strangetown from The Sims 2. So, we are building slash remodeling the Plateau Place in Strangerville, which is going to be very, very interesting. And it is located in the Shady Acres, not to be confused with Shady Pines from the Golden Girls neighborhood. So, I'm sorry, I always have to include a Golden Girls reference whenever I can. It's in my top 5 favorite shows of all time. So, before diving into the remodel, I want to just quickly go over just what exactly we're working with. So, one of the big things and issues that was in Strangerville upon release back in February was that the houses were, well, you'll see in just a minute, but first of all, to the starters, I might do videos on them separately, were very, very similar, if not exactly the same, as two of the base game houses. Out of the three little starter homes that are in the other neighborhood. I forgot what the neighborhood is called, the other neighborhood that's in Strangerville, but I know this one is Shady Acres, mostly because I get it mixed up with Shady Pines from the Golden Girls. So we're going to just do a quick deep dive into Plateau Place. It has 3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms. Right now we're working with 52,000 simoleons. And yeah, so the original lot value was around, I believe, 100,000 simoleons. It's on a 40 by 30 lot. Very, very just, you'll see once we dive into this. So let's dive into it. So the exteriors, you can kind of see it's very bright and very yellowy, which I think really fits the aesthetic of Strangerville. So I don't know if I'll change much, maybe the windows perhaps. But yeah, we got a pool back here, not a whole lot of room for seating, but the wraparound porch idea is really, really cool, I think. But yeah, this is the first floor of Plateau Place. As you can see, it's really funky in terms of its layout. So you have the dining room here, you have a living room area here, you have the kitchen here, which is not super functional. I don't know, maybe that's just me, but I can't really see myself cooking in that sort of area. And then you have this weird little nook place that's like right in here, which is kind of cool, but also very strange, hence Strangerville. Then when you go up, this is where it gets really funky. So you have all of this space on the landing, which I really like, a nice big landing in a bigger house like this, especially that it leads right out to this really gorgeous view of the pool. Obviously the column's like right in front of our faces here, but yeah, you can sort of see where it's at. It has a nice big view of the pool, which is really, really ideal. And yeah, so there's a really tiny bedroom back here. I'm gonna guess that's maybe either a kid's, it's meant to be a kid's room or a guest room. Then you have I almost said another bedroom, but yeah, you have another bedroom right over here in this weird sort of shaped corner almost. I don't even know what to even call that. And then there's a bathroom right here, which I think is, pretty standard. Then you have another bathroom right here, which is in the master bedroom from what it looks like. Even then, the master bedroom, I'm not even sure if I would call it a master bedroom, but yeah, anyway, that's apparently the master bedroom. But then this is the weird part. So you get into this back sort of area. I don't know if all of this was intentionally left blank for us to play around with the build and buy stuff. But yeah, I wanted to do this house justice because I think it has a lot of really good bare bones and like a good skeleton to work with. So yeah, this is what we're working with right now, and I will start up the speed build.
Alright, so here we are jumping right into the speed build. So, again, this is Plateau Place. Originally, I believe it's either 3 or 4 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms. But yeah, right away, we are just diving right into it. This is a 2-part remodel because holy crap, this took me literally probably somewhere between 2 to 3 hours to build. And I didn't want to have like an hour-long video or anything like that. So I wanted, and I didn't I tried going with like times like 500% speed on this, and my head was hurting. So like I'd rather slow things down a little bit towards like a much more manageable pace for everybody to follow along with, and so on and so forth. So as you can kind of see, we have the original layout just totally getting demolished for the most part, and that's what we're doing here. So originally we had that kitchen way back in the corner, the living room. You'll sort of see that we keep the living room in the same spot, and I think there's a good reason behind it too. And I'm not sure what is going on here. Oh yeah, so we're basically deleting all the furniture. We're trying to figure out what we're doing with the layout, at least tentatively. I believe the layout changes so many times when you're doing these builds. But yeah, that's the second floor, and you'll see what we're doing in the second part with the second floor. Basically, the first half is going to be the first floor, and parts of the outside, I want to say as well. And yeah, we're just getting just a basic shape. We're knocking out walls. We're going to town on this thing because again, it has great bones. I like the shape of it. I like the location of it. I love the outdoorsy sort of spaces. But yeah, so again, the sim that is in here wants to start a family. She is at the top of the tech guru career. So as long as she had one little room for her study, then that's what mattered. So this is already uploaded to the gallery as well, which is really, really exciting. I am trying to start the hashtag that variety nerd as well, but that is not my origin username. I think my origin username is like CL567 because I created it Lord knows how long ago, probably back in 2013 or 14 when I didn't have any sort of YouTube aspirations. So there's that. And yeah, you can kind of see we're working on the exterior right now. I wasn't 100% sold on the red necessarily. I felt like it needed to be brightened up for sure because I love how there's a lot of windows, but I wanted it to feel bigger, if that makes any sense. I wanted to feel more like a home. I kind of got inspired by like some, and you'll sort of see it as well. I got inspired exteriorly by like more of a farmhouse almost. And it's also sort of suburban, but it's more inspired by like a farmhouse, obviously, because it's like it has a wraparound porch, so I kept in the wraparound porch. But I love the build items in Stranger Things. See, I almost said Stranger Things again in Strangerville. So if you're really into building in The Sims, I recommend getting it. Plus, you get the extra world with a bunch of lots to play around with, and that's always a bonus too. So yeah, right now I'm just working on trying to figure out what to do with the windows, what I'm doing in terms of the exterior of the house, just to make it look and just to make it pop out more. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to make it more symmetrical, trying to figure out what to do with all the outdoor spaces on the little balconies, the wraparound porch, and all of that stuff. So we're getting the exterior sort of figured out, and then making sure everything's sort of recolored. And we don't knock majority of the exterior, I believe, is pretty much gets done by the time this part is over with because there's a couple things I think I miss, but I mean that's bound to happen when you're trying to remodel everything. So yeah, I went ahead. I At first I liked the redness, the red colors and stuff like that, but then I felt like it needed to be a little bit more neutral on the outside and a little bit more light and breezy almost. I don't know if that's even the right word I would use, but yeah, that's sort of what we were going with for this. And yeah, it was a really tough layout to work around with, but I think it worked out. And again, this is a very tentative layout that I think we were going with. And it was tricky to sort of navigate. Like as you can sort of see throughout this first part and into the next part, you'll see that I sort of fiddle around with the layout Lord knows how many times. I think the place turned out to be like somewhere around like 5 bedrooms and like 3 bathrooms, but you can turn the little back corner sort of room into a 6 room. Like if you want like a very small like toddler room or something like that, you can do that too. So there's some flexibility in here. I really wanted to make it look like that somebody actually was like living in the house while staying under the budget. Even then the budget increased like exponentially, as you can kind of see. I think it went up to around like 80,000, 90,000 simoleons, something crazy like that. So yeah, originally 50,000 simoleons was the goal for the remodel, but we had to knock out everything. We had to change the layout, pretty much everything in the interior anyway. And that's where I was going with. I just want because especially when you have these really weird diagonals, it is you can ask anybody this, whoever is like vaguely familiar with The Sims, but it's really hard to build on a diagonal, let alone get some sort of a decent layout going. But yeah, for right now, I'm like trying to figure out and just place like basic furniture just to try to get a feel for where everything's sort of going. And that's where I was going with it this rate. So, in terms of the packs that I used base game, cats and dogs, jungle adventure, and Strangerville. I don't like using too many packs unless if I'm just going completely insane. The one time, oh my gosh. So I tried doing I want to say it was, what was it? I don't remember, but I was trying to do some sort of challenge or something, or yeah, I think I was trying to do some sort of legacy challenge, and somehow one of my Sims got like 5-star celebrity and everything from being an athlete. I don't remember, but he had like eventually between him and his brother who moved in, and they just had these really it was a ridiculous mansion pretty much. I think it ended up to be 1.2 million simoleons, which was insanity. And yeah, it was nuts. And it is on my gallery again under CL567 on Origin. If you needed reference, like it was really lagging my game. I had a basement, a pool. It was wild. It was very, very wild. But I love doing renovations, remodels, stuff like that, just to give some character to the places that we're working with. So yeah, in terms of this build, again, we're starting out with the first floor. So I wanted to keep the living room in like the same place, only because I couldn't really figure out where else to really put it. So yeah, we are just placing things right here, just getting a feel for it. And yeah, so eventually we changed the windows, we changed the doors in terms of its colors, and I think it really worked out well. So yeah, and I think there's like one item from Seasons that I used and one item from Get Together. So if you don't have those two packs, like you're only missing all of like two items, and both of them are on the first floor. Otherwise, everything else is just the base game and only like three packs, and two of them are game packs, and then the other one's an expansion pack. That's sort of what I like to do. I like to do a little bit of a mixture, but not like use every single pack because I don't own every single pack. And I don't see the need to own every single pack, to be honest. So yeah, this is the part where I was telling you all about. So this is where I start to change these windows, the columns, literally everything on the exterior. And as you can sort of just see where I'm going with this, it has this white sort of just texture to it. Again, I wanted to keep it light and bright. The interior of the house, it's the sky blue color. And so, especially if you kind of look up closely to the doors, you sort of see that similar color in there. And again, like I wanted to make it pretty versatile just in general. I believe I don't know. Yeah, we changed the floors, etc. But yeah, as you can see, I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do with the layout, how to sort of navigate that. And so I think we got a happy medium. This sort of back area, I was originally going to have as like a dining area next to the window. That's sort of like right next to this other room. Oh yeah, and I only changed the exterior just a little bit just to make a little bit more room because I want to have a small bathroom on that first floor, and you'll sort of see it a little bit later. I got smart and included water this time, so that way I don't sound like I'm dying every 5 seconds, which it's like inside I am dying, but mentally I am fine. I'm doing all right, everyone. We're making this work. So yeah, I thought it would be a really good idea to just have a very light and bright, just very open floor plan with this. And yeah, this dining area, it would have been nice. Oh, yeah, I should probably mention this, even though we're 13 minutes in now. But well, almost 14 now. Who am I kidding? Whew. All right. But yeah, make sure if you're downloading this to have move objects on, because I kind of used move objects. If you don't, I think it'll get really messed up, especially like once we start to go around with the dining stuff and all that. But yeah, so what we're doing in here, we're getting just the basic dining area sort of together. I would have loved for it to stay in there, but it didn't feel right to me because I wanted to maximize the space and make each and every sort of area functional. As you can kind of see, we have a little nook back there because I was trying to figure out what in the world to do with that area because the dining area wouldn't have worked back there and all that fun stuff. So as you can see, we're really getting the kitchen sort of together. This was a little tricky to sort of figure out, but I think it worked out. And yeah, I really like how the kitchen turned out, just in general. And yeah, so that trash can, if you're doing like a rags to riches sort of thing, you get the $1,200 trash can. You actually make money from every sort of thing that you throw out, which is really awesome. And even if it's only like like 10 simoleons at a time. Sometimes you get a little bit more than that, and I think that's quite great. But yeah, I wanted to include a bar and make it just this big kitchen. I think it makes sense. You walk in from that back door and into the kitchen area to get a snack or to have a drink, just whatever. And that's sort of where I was going with. And I was really trying to make this particular counter work, but then I was like, oh no, this isn't working. So I think I went with an all white kitchen, something like that. Yeah, that sounds about right. So yeah, I went with an all white kitchen because that's just how we're rolling on this. And yeah, so I wanted it to match up with the flooring, the walls, and yeah, so we also included a little pet area over there as well because, maybe that's the cat or dog's area to just hang out at. And yeah, as you can sort of just see right now, we are just trying to figure out counters, if things are going to work, if rugs are going to work in this area, and so on and so forth. As you can see, not really. We were trying to make it work, but it wasn't really working. I also wanted to make a little bit of room, and you'll see what I'm doing with the dining area and kind of moving it in there. But I also wanted it to be like a big, like, sort of open, just this whole front floor. I wanted to just be like one big sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? I want it to just be one big sort of, I don't know if social area would work, but it's sort of like that sort of spot that you would want. Yeah, so as you can see, we moved the dining room table. It's right next to that door. And we're just trying to figure out the bar stools. Basically, it's just going to be one big sort of social area where people can just hang out at. And that's pretty much what I was going for. And as you can see, I'm struggling to find which bar stools to use that sort of match with the chairs, that sort of match with everything else. But I really wish we had more of those round tables in The Sims because the round tables are quite lovely and I think it's very cozy. And it reminds me of like my childhood a little bit too because I remember like just growing up with a round table and you just kind of sit there and you can talk with everybody. You can see each other's faces. And I don't know, I've always loved round tables. I have a round table in my apartment that I should probably use more, but yeah, it's really cool. I have it right next to the window, so it's really nice just to be able to see all kinds of trees. Sometimes kids are playing, it's kind of cool. So yeah, anyway, I was kind of inspired by that, so I was inspired just to you'll kind of see that I love using the round tables whenever possible. And that's just sort of what we're doing. And I don't know, I just really love it. The cabinets, however, we need more counters and cabinets in general in The Sims. Like if they like I don't have any stuff packs for a good reason, and that's because I think they're very expensive. And I don't know, just to me it doesn't settle right. But yeah, as you can sort of see, instead of using that area as like a dining area, what you'll see is that I actually turned this little area into a study area. But yeah, we need more round tables in The Sims, just period, end tables, coffee tables, etc. And we need more counters and cabinets. That is all I am asking for, just because I want to switch things up a little bit. But yeah, again, this is sort of just little decorating just to make it look like somebody's living there because it's meant to be for a larger family, but again, just the way that I have the layout sort of set up, you can kind of play around with it and just go from there. Like that whole, I mean, you saw it on the second part, you could technically make that little weird open space that was originally supposed to be a bedroom but did not have a bedroom. Yeah, it was kind of a mess. All right, what is going on here? All of a sudden, Origin's just like popping up on my screen for some reason while I'm recording this. It's like connecting to Origin. And I'm just like, oh, okay, just whatever, Origin. That sounds about right. But yeah, I've been learning how to get better at like just decorating the place, including just little things to make it look like somebody's living in The Sims, because I feel like that's part of the problem sometimes, is that some places do, especially in the Strangerville pack, some of them just do not look like they're lived in, especially this particular place. And yeah, I included, yeah, this is the first room that I used any sort of other packs outside of the Cats and Dogs pack and Strangerville and Jungle Adventure with the tea bags eventually. But yeah, so this little area was kind of cool to play around with. It's again, you can convert this into a small bedroom if you want to. But I wanted to include a little study area just to make it look right. Right now, I'm trying to figure out the lighting as well. And yeah, that's where I'm going with. That's why I want to just have a little bit of a cozier light. And I mean, come on now. You have like this really cute little Origin just popped up and just restarted. Whatever. I don't. Origin, what are you doing today? So yeah. Oh, that couch, that's from Seasons. If you don't have Seasons, that's like one of like two things that you would need to replace if you want to replace things. The other one's just right on that little counter thing. Yeah, you see the tea bags next to the sunflowers? That's the only other object that would get removed. So yeah, you can easily replace those with whatever you want. As you can see, I wanted to try to make each room a little bit different, except for the bathrooms because I wanted the bathrooms to kind of be similar, and that was sort of where I was going with this. Just trying to make it as cozy as possible. I have a little bookshelf. I love some of the furniture that we get in the latest update slash patch, which includes that bookshelf and that little end table. I don't know. I think they're really cute and they fit into almost any sort of build, really, which is really, really nice. And yeah, please ignore the plant that's sticking through. Awesome. But yeah, I wanted to include some little things on the shelves. Obviously, if you have kids in the Sims that get like Scout Awards or just, talent awards or whatever it might be, then yeah, we'll go with that. And yeah, the bathrooms were just hard to just try to figure out what to do with. Um, Probably should have included a light in there first, but mostly it's pretty much just using, I want to say, Jungle Adventure and base game in the bathrooms, especially. I love the Jungle Adventure rooms. As you can see, I like to keep it sort of consistent with the cabinets and the counters. I think it makes a lot of sense just because consistency is good and it's sort of like you don't have to shop around for a lot of stuff and it makes life a little bit easier. So yeah, again, I'm trying to figure out how to like just make this room look a little bit lighter without it looking ridiculous before just adding more decor stuff. And yeah, so this this sort of bathroom is also kind of awkwardly placed, but I think it makes some sort of sense. And yes, I remember the toilet paper this time because I swear to God, I always forget toilet paper in my builds. I don't know why, or in the remodels. Like, I kind of forget about it. But yeah, as you can see, the camera angles are not so pleasant in The Sims. So my apologies to anyone that's like, what is going on right now? Because it's going into so many different walls and just it's looking a little crazy to say the least. But I think I navigated that a little bit. And then right here, what I did instead of like having the OG kitchen right there, I just turned this into an extra like guest room. Or if like you have an elder sim that doesn't want to or can't climb up the steps that well, like just think of it as a legacy challenge sort of thing. Where it's like, oh yeah, like grandma could stay on the first floor, and that way we can have a little bit of privacy upstairs. Cool. Awesome. And that way grandma also gets the bathroom right across the hallway too. So it kind of works and grandma gets a nice view. That's like sort of what I picture right now, which is really funny because the sim that I have moved in right now is just a single sim, like no significant other, like no family. Wait, no, she has no, I take that back. She does have family. And yeah, she has a twin sister that I think could be moving in. So in total, she has three brothers and two sisters. So it's split three and three. I didn't pick that way. We just sort of just went nuts with. We sort of went just nuts in the first generation, and so now we're getting into the second generation. And yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting. So this sister slash the main character that this basically the main character that got moved in. She's in the tech guru career again, and she maxed it out, but she does some programming on the side, and her sisters each do something a little bit different, whether that's in science, art, whatever it might be. So that's sort of what I was going for, just having each room look a little bit different, have a different character to it. But yeah, this is meant to be like a guest room or where grandma can stay if grandma moves in. So, yeah, that's what we're going with here. That's sort of what I was kind of thinking about because I know a lot of folks, I know a lot of you all out there like to play with families in your Sims games and try legacy challenges. Also, I wanted to sort of cut corners on the wood cost and make each of the bedrooms carpeted because I think that makes sense to me. But yeah, again, we're just trying to figure out like what the windows look like, the doors, what to do with the balcony. I think this part ends up wrapping up just focusing more on the exterior a little bit more, more so the outdoorsy stuff, just again to make it functional. Because for me, it really bugs me just getting an empty shell in The Sims, or I move into an empty shell in The Sims. And it's sort of like, oh my God, what's going on here? How do I make this functional? Or it's like a two by two space, and it's like I could just make that a small, like half bath or something like that. But yes, we are at this point just trying to figure out the layout for the upstairs. I think it turns out much better than I thought. Now, the bedrooms, I will say, are a little bit empty-ish, but you'll sort of see what I mean. Like, in terms, again, I sort of kept like a family in mind when not like a particular family, but like just, legacies and families in general. And yeah, so I have a general layout upstairs. And the living room was very tricky because, again, it's hard to build anything on an angle. So that was sort of one of the things I was trying to navigate, which I always intentionally avoid doing for that purpose. So that was where I was going with that. But yeah, if you ever have to build on a diagonal, I feel really sorry for you because it is quite hard. It is quite difficult. And yeah, again, I just wanted to make it as full as possible with like plants, greenery, but not go quite overboard on it. I wanted to make it look like it was really lived in because that's sort of some of the better houses to me is when it's like it looks like it's lived in. But yeah, right now we're finishing up just little decorative pieces in the living room area and in that little hallway right next to Grandma's room. I'm just gonna refer to that as Grandma's room because why not? And yeah, I probably went a little overboard on some of those plants, but in just plants in general, but I think it works. Oh my God, does anyone remember when the whole Sims Alexa thing sort of just happened? Like how the stereo thing that I just deleted in that slash I think I might have re-added it, but I could be wrong. But anyway, I remember like it crashed everybody's games when it first like got included in the patch. Um, but yeah, I also am paranoid about Alexa just period because that's how we're going with this. But yeah, you can replace some of those plants with like the umbrella thing that come the umbrella rack. I couldn't even think of the right word for rack. But yeah, if you want to include the umbrella rack in there, you can do that instead of one of those plants, etc., etc. I just felt like it would be good to add a couple of plants just to liven things up a little bit. And who doesn't like a good plant? But yeah, I think minus this little section, this is it for the interior of the first floor of Plateau Place, I think that's called. I don't remember. Plateau something. Whatever. It's so funny. I just have everything with this video sort of just labeled plateau, like plateau intro, plateau this, plateau that. Kind of amusing. Oh, also, I was just trying to figure out what to do because I want to include all kinds of kooky little knickknacks. I felt like, again, it makes it look like it's lived in more. And actually, there's something really cool that I do right here that I think is actually really cool and a good use of the space, and that's with the little runner rugs, which to me, it's sort of like I don't see the point, but it happens. But yeah, this is what I was talking to you all about with the exterior. And yeah, so this is where we're going with. I saw the grill back here, and yeah, I honestly was not quite sure what to do with the color of the chairs, to be honest, just because it was sort of all over the place. And the lighting is just not that great. And then let's see here. I think we add another bar back here because again, this house is meant to be sort of extra to begin with. And yeah, it's not like super extra, but it's like extra to the point where it's like, why do you have two bars? So yeah, that was sort of where we went with. And just making sure that there was a bin back here, like one of those outdoor bins, and just kind of keeping it just tying everything together, and that's sort of where we're at. And yeah, we just want to make the outside a little bit more functional, kind of cool. Just add a couple things to do back here, and this is where we're gonna stop for today. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you all later.